Hello, this is the continuation of the last session in which we saw how to access filters in Spotify using IronPython. Today we will go a bit deeper into filters and see how to access different types of filters and how to access their methods and properties which are defined exclusively for them. Now let's do a recap of what we saw in the last session. So every filter is a part of a table group. Table group is nothing but the data table in our analysis. So to access any filter in our analysis, we first have to grab an instance of the table group or the data table which the filter is a part of. And then using filter handles, we have to access the filter of that table group. For example, these are the table groups: employee, department, and organization. Suppose I wish to access this filter employee name. First I have to grab an instance of this employee table group, and then through filter handle we will access this employee name filter. Let's look at the code. Okay, so this is how we do. For example, we have to access this employee name filter. First we need to get an instance of this table group employee, which we do through this statement. This is the hierarchy: application, which is your Spotify application, then document, which is your analysis, then the page on which you are trying to access a filter, that page. This can be active page or a page at any particular index other than your current page, like document.pages z1, document.pages2, like this. If you are trying to access the filter panel of second page, you can write document.pages1 in a pair of square brackets. So the page at index 1 refers to the second page. So active page reference dot filter panel, then filter panel. These table groups and filters are part of a filter panel. This filter panel will then be followed by the table group. That particular table group whose filter we are or filters we are trying to access. So this table groups, if we skip this 0 index, it will return a collection of table groups. But we are interested in the first table group, so we will write index 0. This will return an instance of this employee table group. Now in this employee table group we have 3 filters. So first we need to get the filter handles of this filter groups. How do we do this? This table group instance dot filter handles. There is a property of table group. This is returning one table group. So if we go to table group collection class, table group class, sorry, because that is returning one table group, so we need to check table group class and not the table group collection class. So there is a property called filter handles. So this property of table group class filter handles, which is filter handles, will return a collection of filter handles through which we can access each filter in that particular table group. So this is returning a collection of filter handles. Now we loop through all the filter handles one by one, and then there is a property called filter reference of filter handle class through which we cast each filter handle into a filter. That is to say, we access one filter using the filter handle of that filter with this property filter reference. To access employee name filter, we will first get the filter handle to this employee name filter dot filter reference. Similarly, filter handle to this location filter dot filter reference. So this will return the actual filter Now one by one, as the loop runs, each time fref, this variable stores a filter. So first time when the loop runs, it will the f handle will point to the filter handle to imply name filter. Next time when the loop runs, this f handle will point to the filter handle to this location filter. So first time this fref will store this imply name filter. Second time this fref will store location filter, and so on. Okay, so this is a property of filter handle class, because every time f handle is returning one filter handle. If you go to filter handle class, you will find this property. This is that filter handle class. This is the property, filter reference. So it returns a filter. Technically, it returns a value of type filter, or it returns an object of filter class. So you can use all the properties and functions with this or with this, which are defined in the filter class, because the return type is filter, right? It is returning a value of type filter. If you go to filter class, you can use all these methods and properties. You can try these out in your spare time. These are not so complex, simple. Okay, this method we will be using to parse one filter into a particular type of filter as T. Okay, so first step, to get an instance of the table group, then a collection of filters in that table, a collection of filter handles in the table group, and one by one, through filter, by looping through the filter handle collection, we access each filter using the filter reference property of the filter handle class. Okay. So this is how we access each filter. Suppose we have to loop through all the filters, then we can use this structure. We get all the table groups in one variable. That is, we get a collection of table groups first and store it to some variable. Then we loop through the table collection. Then in each table collection, we loop through the filter handles of each table group. For example, in the first run of this loop, tvgrp points to employee table group. Then the control passes to the inner loop, and then we loop through each filter handle of this employee table group. After processing is done in the inner loop, control passes to the outer group, and then tvgrp points to the second table group, department, and then control passes on to the inner loop, and then in the inner loop we loop through the filter handles of the department table group. So this is the structure we can use to loop through all the filters or filter handles. So the point to be borne in mind is we need to get an instance of the table group, and then the filter handles in that table group. And lastly, we will access each filter using filter reference property of the filter handle class, like this. Okay, so in reality, we will be accessing only specific filters. We will not be required to loop through all the filters. That is a rarity, but practically we will be accessing specific filters. So there is a command to access specific filter in your filter panel. Okay. So there is a command function method called getFilter, defined in the class table group. If we go to table group class, we will find this method, table group class. getFilter. This is the method, and it returns a value of type filter handle class. Okay. Okay, that means whatever value it returns, we can use those methods and properties which are defined in the filter handle class. This is the filter handle class. We can use all these methods and properties with the value that is returned by the method getFilter of the table group class. Okay, so suppose we wish to access this particular filter employee name. First step is to grab an instance of this table group employee, because if this filter that we're trying to access is a part of this employee table group. So this is how we access the instance of a table group. Since employee is located at the first location, we use the index 0 to access this table group. Application, document, current page, filter panel, and then table group. This is the hierarchy which we saw in the last session. Now we got an instance of this table group employee and we stored it to a variable t. Now to get any particular filter, as I showed, we can use getFilter method, and the parameter or argument that it takes is a string type, which is nothing but the name of the filter. So this table group dot getFilter and the filter name as an argument will return a filter handle, that is the filter handle to this employee name filter. Okay, so this is returning filter handle to the filter employee name. Suppose we wanted to access this filter salary, so we could have just passed the name of the filter salary like this. Okay, so this will return a filter handle. Okay, now we know that to access a particular, we need to pass one filter handle as a particular filter to access a particular filter, to actually access a particular filter. So at this point we have a filter handle, we have got a filter handle. Now the next step is to use this property filter reference. Forget about this one for a moment. So this is the filter reference property through which we get the filter. So this will return a value of type filter class. If you wish to check the type of value that a statement is returning, you can just pass it to the type function, so that you will come to know what value it is returning. So if it returns a filter type class, you can go to filter class in the Spotfire API and see what methods and properties are available in the filter class, and then you can use those methods and properties which you need with this ls.filter reference. Okay, similarly with this, if you print type of, if you print this statement type of this tb.getFilter, we get one filter handle class as an object, as an output. So that means this is a filter handle, and you can go to filter handle class and see what methods and properties you can use. Those methods and properties can be used with this variable LH. Okay, so this is how we can access specific filters. Okay, so let's check out listbox filter first. Suppose we want to access properties and methods of a listbox filter. You have a listbox filter, we have a listbox filter called employee name, and we want to use some methods and properties which are exclusively defined for listbox filters, or which are applicable to a listbox filter. So at this point, once we get a filter reference, we need to cast it or parse it into a listbox filter, which we do using as method, which I showed you in the filter class, as it was written as t. So here we pass the type of filter. So the filter classes are the classes for filter types are already defined. For listbox filter, it's listbox filter. Similarly, there is range filter, text filter, item filter, and so on. So this will return a listbox filter type object. Okay, if you type print of LB. Some error, line 34. Okay, so this is the output type response filter. That means this is returning an object of type list box filter class. Okay, this statement. If you write checkbox filter here, it will return a value of type checkbox filter, but this employee name is a type of listbox filter class. So if you write checkbox filter here, this LB will store none. Okay, since this is a listbox type filter, listbox filter, we need to parse it into listbox filter class object. Okay, so first step is to get an instance of the table group, then filter handle, and then filter using the property filter reference. So this is one method which we can use to directly access a particular filter handle, table group dot get filter. So first we get an instance of the table group, and then we use the method on that table group object, tb dot get filter, and we pass the name of the filter as an argument. So this returns the handle to the filter employee name, and with this handle we can use this filter reference property as we have used earlier. Now to cast it into a particular type of filter, we use as listbox filter. Because we wanted to use the methods and properties of listbox filter, we have cast it or parsed it into a listbox filter type object. So this is returning a value of type filter class. This method as is defined in the filter class. Okay, for example, when we use a property or a method with a page object, we go to page class and see if that method is or property that we used is defined in that class or not. Only then we use, because that's how we access. To access the methods and properties of class, we create an object. We need to have an object to be able to access those methods and properties of its class. So similarly, this is an object of class filter. If we go to filter class, we will come to know what methods and properties we can use with this filter class. These are the properties and methods we can use. So this is the method we have used here to parse as t. Okay, as listbox filter. So this will return an object of type listbox filter. In last session we saw till here only. Today, now we are seeing how to parse one filter into a particular filter type, and we are starting with listbox filter. So this returns an object of type listbox filter class. Now since this is returning an object of type filter listbox filter class, we can head to listbox filter class and see what methods and properties are available. Listbox. Here we have listbox filter class. So these are the listbox filter methods, class methods and properties which can be used with an object of type listbox filter. Okay, so let's try to run some of the properties of methods. So the most important method that one will most likely use is setting filters. So that can be done using set selection method. So this is how we use. So this is an object of list box filter, and then with the object we are using the method. Okay. So this is one method, set selection. Let's see how it works. Set selection. Set selection. It doesn't, it's void type function, so it doesn't return any value. You can just pass the values and those values will be selected in the list box filter. Okay. It takes values params type, that means you can pass as many values as you can, and it is of type object array. So here we have passed A, B and C. We know it contains values A, B and C. That's why we passed A, B and C. And when we run this command, you see A, B and C. Suppose I select only A. Okay. B and C. And D. Let's select D also. B, C, D. So B, C and D have been selected. Okay. But did you notice that all is also selected? But we don't want this to be selected along with the values that we have passed to be selected. So to unselect this or deselect this, there is a property called include all values, which you can set to false. As the name suggests, include all values. That means if you want this all to be included along with other filters, you can either leave this setting to default, or you can set it to true. I repeat, if you want this all value to be selected along with the other filters that you have passed in the set selection method, you can either leave this you can leave out setting this property, because by default this will be selected, or you can set it to true. But we don't want this all value to be always selected along with the other filters that we pass in the set selection method. So we need to set this property to false. lb.include all values equal to false. Okay, so this is an object of the list box filter. We have used this property with this object. This property is defined in the list box filter class. You can see list box filter properties include all values. This is the property. It returns a boolean type value, that is true or false. You can get or set it. It returns or you can set the value. Okay, so we have set this to false. Now let's run this command. See, all is not selected this time. Only those values which have been passed to the filters have been selected. B are selected, B, C and D. Okay, so you need to set this value to this property to false. After that, you need to pass the values that you want to be selected. Okay. There is another property called selected values, which is a useful property. It just returns a collection of values which are selected. So collection means when you want to access each value, you will have to loop through that collection of values. This is a general logic. Nothing, it's not specific to list box filter, selected values of list box filter. To any collection of values, when we wish to access each value, we need to loop through the values. So this is returning a collection of values, which is a collection of the selected values. Now to get each value in this collection of values, we need to loop through this collection, just like we loop through a collection of pages. Okay, we loop through the collection of the selected values like this. For value in, you can use any variable here instead of the. For v in lb dot selected values, this returns a collection of values. Now one by one it will fetch the selected value. If we run this, see, it returned B, C, D. Okay. Okay. So you can define, suppose you have too many filters in the filter panel and a user means is most likely to use one filter too very often. You can set up an input box control in your text area and provide a button and embed this script in that button, so that whenever the user types a value in that input box control and clicks on that button, those values will be passed to that list box filters and those filters will be set to those values. This is one use case where you can apply this logic or use this code snippet to set list box filters. Okay, so first we got an instance of the table group, then table group instance dot get filter, to which we pass the name of the filter. This is a string type. Okay. If you go to the definition of this method, which is defined in the class table group, right? We have used this method with an instance of the table group. That means this method is defined in the table group class. We go to table group class. Get filter. So it takes an argument of type string. So you just have to pass the name of the filter. Name is a string type value. And it returns a value of type filter handle. This is the return type, filter handle. So it returns, this statement returns a value of type filter handle. Now to get the actual filter, we need to use the property filter reference with the filter handle. So this filter reference property is defined in the class filter handle. That's why we have used that property with the filter handle. This is the property, filter reference property, which returns a value of type filter. Now we parse it into the filter type. Here we have a list box filter implying we wanted to access it. So we passed it into a list box filter type object. Now we have a variable LB which stores an instance of the filter implying name, which is of type list box filter class. Now we can go to list box filter class and see what methods and properties we can use with that. You can try out these properties and these methods. They are simple. An experiment. Okay. Now we can use these properties. Object name dot property, object name dot method. So lb dot include values equal to false. We don't want this all value to be selected along with the other values. That's why we have set this property to false. Set selection is a method which is used to set filters, and then selected values is a property which returns a collection of selected values. We can loop through the selected values and get each selected value. Like as for example, we have looped through the selected values and printed it each value. Print B, C and D. Here B, C and D are selected. We can do other operations as well with these selected values depending upon the requirement. Okay, so this is how we get a reference to a list box filter. Let's switch to range filter. Steps are the same. We just have to pass it into a range filter type object. Let me first reset all the filters. So we have a range type filter salary in the employee table group. We will try to access the salary filter using Iron Python. Range filter. Okay. First step is to get an instance of the table group where the filter is located. So we are accessing salary filter of the table group employee, which is located at index 0. So we got an instance of the table group. Next step is to use the get filter method with the table group instance tv dot get filter, and then we pass the name of the filter, salary, and then we need to parse it as a range filter because it is a range filter, and the range, it returns a value of type range filter which is stored to the variable range f. Now this returns an object of type range filter class range f. Now we can go to range filter class and see what methods and properties we can use. So these are the methods and properties you can use. Not all will be used, but you can try all of these and see what their function is. For example, you can use this reset function to reset this salary filter. Let's try this out. I changed this filter setting. Okay. Now let's reset this filter. Range f is the instance of the range filter salary. Range f dot reset. You run the script. See, the filter got reset. Okay. Similarly, there are other methods. For example, step body down. What it does is it just shifts your filter range one by one notch to the left. For example, we have set our filter to these values. Okay. What it will do, consider this as a straight scale or a straight line. Every time you run this command step body down, it will move this scale by one notch to the left until this left point reaches the minimum value of this available data range. Let's try this. I have changed this filter and I am using step body down with this filter. If I click this, see, it shifted to the left by one notch. So 30,000 are both the upper limit and lower limit of the range got shifted to the left by one notch to the previous value which is available in your column salary. Now if I run this again, it will move to the left point, the left limit will will be set to 20,000 and the right limit, higher limit, will be set to 30,000. So your scale is getting shifted to the left, and lower limit and the higher limit are also getting shifted and getting set to the available values in your column. Now next time when I run this command, when I run this script, this left limit, lower limit should be set to 10,000 because the next lower value is 10,000 and the next lower value for this higher limit is 20,000. So this should be set to 10,000 and this point should be set to 20,000. Let's run this. See, now our left limit has already been set to the lowest value available in this column salary. Now it will not shift to the left any further. Yeah, now it is not shifted. Let's try again. I have shifted this. Okay, so when we run this command step body down, this scale, this length of a scale or this length of thread, you can say, will move by one notch to the left, and this left limit, lower limit, will be set to the next available lower value. Similarly, the higher limit of this range will be set to the next available lower value. So this point should be set to 20,000 and this point, higher limit, should be set to 30,000. Let's run the script. 2030. Now next time when we run the script, this lower limit should be set to 10,000 and this upper limit should be set to 20,000, because those are the next lower values available respectively for the lower limit and the higher limit. 10,000, 20,000. Now it will not shift any further because the lower limit has already reached its maximum allowable limit, which is 10,000. And 10,000, since 10,000 is the lowest value available in this column, salary. Similarly, we have step body up, which will work the opposite way. This scale will keep moving by one notch to the right every time you run the script. You can try this method out. Similarly, there is step high limit down. So this is similar to step body down, but instead of the lower limit and the upper limit shifting together, only upper limit will shift to the left. That means lower limit will be set to the value at which it is set, but the upper limit will keep moving, keep shifting to the left by one notch. Okay, then there is include empty, similar to the if you wish to include empty values with this filter, you can set this include empty property to true. There is one valid visual skills. This will show the transformation that you can apply on your values. This will mostly be used while using data analytics. For example, we have numerical values, so it will show transformations like log or something that is applicable to numerical values. Now suppose you want, just like in list box filter we have a set selection method, we have a constructor called value range through which we can set a range filter. So there is a method called value data range. Okay, let's go to the definition of this value data range. This is a method value data range. I'm sorry, it's a property, not a method, because we have that used a pair of parentheses, so it's a property. We need to go to the property value data range. Okay, get and set, that means it returns the current value range that your filter is set to, as well as you can set the range. That means you can set the range filter. But how? It returns a value of type value range. Okay, so let's go to value range class and see what it is. Value range. Okay, that's okay. So value range is a constructor. Okay, if you go here, I have written this note here. Okay, so value range is a constructor. Constructor is nothing but a function, a method which bears the same name as the class name, but it is a method or a function. So value range is a method or a constructor which takes two arguments, lower value and the higher value that you want your range filter to be set to. So with value data range you cannot directly pass 3. Suppose we want to set salary filter to 10,000, 20,000. So we cannot, or 30,000 to 40,000. We cannot simply pass 30,000, 40,000, something like that. So we need to pass this 30,000 and 40,000, that is the low value and the high value, lower limit and the upper limit of the range, to one constructor, value range. Okay, this will return a range. This constructor, which is a method, this will return a range, and that range will be assigned to this property, value data range. Okay, so this is how we set the range of a range filter. I repeat, To set the range of a range filter, we need to pass the lower limit and the upper limit of the range to a constructor called value range, like this, value range and the lower limit and the upper limit. This returns a range which is then assigned to the property value data range. Okay, this is how we set a range filter. Let's try to do this. Range filter, range f dot value data range. We are setting this filter to 30,000 and 40,000. What happened? Okay. Think it ran in conjunction with some other commands. Let's comment this out. Okay, so now our filter is set to 30,000 and 40,000. Let's change this to 20,000 and 30,000. Okay, so our value is set to 20,000. This is 20,000, and then this is 30,000. Okay. So this is how we set a range filter. Now let's go to checkbox filter. Okay. Steps are the same. We first grab an instance of the table group which the checkbox filter is a part. Then with that table group we use this command get filter, this method get filter, and we pass the name of the filter which returns a filter handle, and then we use this filter reference property with that filter handle, and then we pass that filter. This returns a value of type filter handle dot object dot filter reference. This returns a filter type value, and then with this filter type value we use this as method to parse a filter into checkbox type filter or any other type filter. Okay. So let's try to access one checkbox filter which we have here. So let's try to access this location checkbox filter, which is a part of the table group employee. So we grabbed an instance of the first table group employee. Then using get filter we got the filter handle to this location checkbox filter, and then we passed this filter handle into a filter and then further into checkbox filter. Now we store this checkbox filter object into this variable checkf. Now with this object checkf, with this variable checkf, we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in a checkbox filter class, in the checkbox filter class. Let's see what methods and properties are available. Checkbox filter. Here we have the checkbox filter. Okay. So these are the methods and properties. There is a method called check which will let you check values in a checkbox filter. Is checked will return whether a value is checked or not. You can try these methods. Reset will reset a filter, a checkbox filter. Uncheck will uncheck a value in a list box checkbox filter. Okay. Then we have this properties include empty transactions. We won't use these. Type and will return the type of the filter. Values will return the values which are checked. Okay, has empty values will return if it contains empty values. You can try these properties and see what type of value it returns. Okay. So let's use two methods, try out two methods, checking and unchecking. Okay, so with this checkbox filter object, we will use check property. Now, if you look at the location filter, all the values are checked by default. So suppose you wish to check specific values, you first need to uncheck all the values, so that none of the values are checked initially, and then you can check the values that you want to check. For example, if I want to check Bangalore and Chennai, first I will have to uncheck all the values. After that, I will have to run the command to check Bangalore and Chennai. This is what we will do here. Suppose I want to check Bangalore and Kochi. First, I need to uncheck Bangalore and Kochi. So this is how we uncheck Bangalore and Kochi. Let's look at the definition of the uncheck function. Checkbox full methods. Uncheck method. Okay, it's a void type method, so it doesn't return anything, but it takes an argument of type object, which is a value. You can pass this value as a string. Okay. So checkf dot uncheck Bangalore. So this Bangalore will be unchecked. See, this is object value and it doesn't contain a pair of square brackets, so you can't pass an array or a collection of values here. You will have to pass one value at a time. Okay. So first I am passing Bangalore. Next time I am passing Kochi with the same method. Okay. So this Bangalore and Kochi will get unchecked. Okay. Bangalore and Kochi got unchecked. But I have to check Bangalore and Kochi only. So I will have to uncheck all the values first. So one by one you will have to pass Chennai, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Kolkata, this uncheck function, which is not practical if you have too many values. So what we will do, we have a method or a property, right? We have a property values. Okay. So which returns a collection of the checkbox values. If you remember, we had a property called values in this box filter ID. Similarly, we have values with checkbox filter, which will return all the values associated with this checkbox filter. So we can loop through these values one by one. We will uncheck each value. This way, all the values will get unchecked, like this. Or in checkf dot values. So this will return a collection of values, which contains Bangalore, Chennai, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Kochi, and Kolkata. We are looping through these values. One by one, we will pass these values to the method uncheck. Checkf dot uncheck v. So this will uncheck all the values. When the loop ends, all the values will get unchecked. So first time when the loop runs, v contains Bangalore. So Bangalore will be passed to the method uncheck. Next time when the loop runs, Chennai will be passed to the method unchecked. Third time when the loop runs, v points to Gurgaon, and then Gurgaon will be passed to uncheck, and so on. Okay. Let's comment these two things after. So all the values got unchecked. There. Okay. So our objective is to check Bangalore and Kochi only. Now we will pass Bangalore and Kochi one by one to these methods. Let's look at the definition of the check method. This is the method, which is similar to the definition of the uncheck method. It takes a value as an argument and it returns nothing because it is a void type method. Okay. Well, let's pass. After all the values are unchecked, we pass the values one by one to the check method, which we want to be checked. Let's run this. happened? Attribute check. Okay, C should be in uppercase. So Bangalore and Kochi are checked. Okay. So this is how we check values in a checkbox filter. So the steps are the same as like other filter types. First we get an instance of the table group whose checkbox filter we are trying to access. Then we use the command get filter to get the filter handle to that checkbox filter. Here we pass the name of the filter location because we are trying to access the filter location. This get filter returns the filter handle to the filter location, which is stored to this variable check h. Now with this check h we use the property filter reference to get the actual filter. Now with this actual filter we use this property method as, to which we pass the filter type class, and this statement parses this filter into a checkbox filter type object. Okay. Now with this checkbox filter type object we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in the checkbox filter class. I repeat, this is returning a value of type filter class, and if you go, that means with this statement filter handle or filter reference we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in a filter class. When we go to the filter class, there is a method defined as. This is why we have used here as, and to this method as we need to pass the type of the filter that we want the filter to be cast into. Okay. Now this has been cast into checkbox filter. This filter has been cast into a checkbox filter type object using this method. Okay, with this filter. Now this checkbox filter is stored. This checkbox filter instance or object is stored to this variable checkf. Now with this checkf we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in the checkbox filter class. Two such methods or two useful methods which can be used with a checkbox filter are check and uncheck. So how do we check values? First we uncheck all the values. So there is a property called value which returns all the values in a checkbox filter. So by looping through all the values, we uncheck all the values one by one by passing each value to the method uncheck. Okay, so this way it unchecks all the values in the filter. Once all the values are unchecked, we pass those values to the check method which we wish to be checked. So this is how we check filters in a checkbox filter. Let's do one more exercise. Suppose we wish to check only Kolkata. Okay, only Kolkata. At present all the values are checked. So we grabbed an instance of the table group employee because location filter is a part of this employee table group, which is saved. Now the instance is saved to the variable tb. Now with this table group instance we have used this get filter to get the handle to the filter location. With this filter handle we have used this filter reference to get an instance of the actual filter, and with this filter we have used this as method to parse this filter into a checkbox filter. Okay, so this returns an object of type checkbox filter class which is stored to the variable checkf. Now with this checkf you can use all the methods and properties which are available in a checkbox filter class. Now suppose we want to uncheck Bangalore and Chennai, we can simply pass these values one by one to uncheck function. Okay, mind the spelling. Okay. So this will uncheck Bangalore and Kochi if you pass this. Okay, our intention is to check only Kolkata. So how do we do that? Because all the filters are checked initially, we need to first uncheck all the values. So how do we uncheck all the values? We loop through all the values. How do we get all the values first? Using this property values of checkbox filter class. So this returns a collection of values in the checkbox filter. Now we loop through the values of the checkbox filter one by one. We uncheck all the values by passing each value to the method uncheck. So through this statement, through this snippet, all the values get unchecked. After all the values are unchecked, we pass the values to the check method which we want to be checked. So suppose we want only Kolkata to be checked, we will pass Kolkata to the check method. So only Kolkata was checked. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to text filter. So we have a text filter known as city in the table group organization, which is the table group at index 2, 0, 1, 2. So to access this filter, we need to get an instance of this table group first, organization, which is located at index 2, 0, 1, 2. So that's why we have passed index 2 here. Application.document.page, the filter fund, and then table group. This is the table group. Third table group organization. Now table group dot get filter, and you pass the city filter name, and with this which returns the handle to this city text filter. Now with this handle we have used this filter reference property to get the actual filter, and to pass this filter into a text filter we have used this method as of the filter class, and we passed text filter to this as method. So this returns an object of type text filter. Now let's go to text filter class and see what methods and properties we can use with the text filter. Text filter. This is the text filter class. We have reset method, toString method, type ID, value. These are self-explanatory. toString will just return the current state of the filter in the form of a string. Reset will reset the filter. These two are methods. Type ID will just return the type of the filter. Value will return the value that has been passed to a text filter. For example, return as well as value will return as well as allow you to set or allow you to pass a value to a text box filter. Okay, so suppose I want to set this city filter, city text filter to Bangalore. So after getting the text filter object, we can use this property value on that object, text filter dot value, and we can set it to Bangalore. If you run this script, this city will be set to Bangalore. Okay, this Bangalore will be passed and the filter will be set to Bangalore. If I pass some other value, this will contain, this text box will be set to ABC. And if you print the text filter, it will show like this, city matching ABC. That is, set your data, filter your data set to city matching ABC. Okay, let's look at organization. So it contains nothing because there is no city named ABC. Okay, so suppose I pass Chennai. How do we pass here? Like by typing here. Okay, okay, so your filter is set to Chennai and your data set is filtered to Chennai. So this is what we can do using value property of a text filter class. Suppose I want to filter my data set to Chennai. So we grabbed an instance of the table group, then the filter handle on that filter. Okay. Then we cast it into a text filter and stored the text filter object to this variable textf. Now with this textf we have used this property value to get to set the text filter. Suppose we wish to set the text filter to Chennai, we can pass Chennai to this value property of the text filter. Okay. This city matching Chennai is the output of this statement. Okay. Let's go back and check. See, Chennai is typed here as expected, and our data set organization is set to Chennai, city equal to Chennai. Okay. Let's reset. Let's go to item filter. Okay. Similarly, we can access an item filter after parsing a filter into an item filter type object. Here we have an item filter named company in the table group organization. So we grabbed an instance. First we need to get an instance of the table group which is located at index 2, 0, 0, 1, 2. Organization is located at the second index. Then table group dot get filter, and we pass the name of the item filter which is company. Now item h contains the handle to the filter company. Now with this handle we have used filter reference property get the actual filter, and with this property we have used as method to pass this filter into an item filter. Okay. Now this returns an object of type item filter which is stored to item f. In our case it returns an object of this company item filter which is stored to the variable item f. Now with this item f we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in the item filter class. Let's go to item filter class. Item filter class. This is the item filter class. Okay. These are the properties and methods and properties, like reset, to reset the filter, to string will return the current state of the filter in the form of a string, type ID will return the type of the filter, values. Okay. Values will return the values which are allowed in a filter, that means the list of all available values, and value returns or it enables you to set your filter to a certain value. Okay, let's try to set this item filter company. So we have three values in the filter company, C1, C2 and C3. Let's first run item f dot values. Okay. Let's comment out the remaining values. What it returned? It returned a list, immutable list. That means a list. List is nothing but a collection of values. Okay. So we need to loop through this collection of values to access each value. Like this. Okay. Just like we loop through a collection of pages. So this item dot values returns an immutable list which is a collection of values. List is a collection of values. So we need to iterate through this list to access each value. You can use any variable other than I, including I, any other variable. I have used I. So it printed C1, C2 and C3. So these are the values which are available in the item filter. Okay. Now if we want to set this filter to a particular value, we can use this property value with this item filter object. Suppose I want to set this filter to C3, we can pass this name of the value as a string. It is a string type object, string type filter. So we passed this string to this property value. So this item will be set to, this item filter will be set to C3. Let's run this. See, this company filter is set to C3. This we set it to C2, it will be set to C2. Okay. Okay, this value property is get and set. That means it returns as well as allow you to set the property. This is what get and set means. Okay, so this is how you access an item filter, which is the same way in which you access other types of filters. First you get an instance of the table group which your item filter is a part of, then get filter method on that item filter object. The method takes the name of the filter as an argument. Now this get filter returns a filter handle type object. So this statement returns the handle to the filter company. Now to get the actual filter, we use the filter reference property with this filter handle object. This filter reference property is defined in the filter handle class. That is why we could use this filter reference property with an object of type filter handle. Okay. Now with this filter we have used as method to cast this filter into an item filter type object. Okay. So this returns an object of type item filter, which is in our case company filter. Okay. Now with this filter we can use with this filter item f filter object, I mean item filter object, we can use all the methods and properties which are defined in the item filter class. So there is one property called values which returns all the available values in the filter. To access each value, we need to loop through this values property. We need to loop through that collection of values which is returned by this property values. This item f dot values, this is plural values, so it returns a collection of values available in the filter company. Okay. Now to access each value, we need to loop through this collection of values, which is what we have done here. We have printed here, we can do other operations as well on these values. Suppose we need to pass this value to some other filter, or we need to use this value in some other visualization or in some other calculation, we can use it. Okay. Now to set an item filter, we can use this property value. We need to pass the value to this property value with the item filter to set the item filter. Item filter object dot value equal to value that the item filter needs to be set to. So this was about the different filter types that we can access using IronPython. So the steps are the same. First you need to grab an instance of a table group, then filter handle to that filter using the get filter method, and then use the filter reference property with that with that filter handle object, and then parse that filter into a particular type of filter using as method. Now once you have got this filter object, store this into a variable and then use the methods and properties with that object, filter type object. Go to that particular filter type and see what methods and properties are available in that particular filter type class. Those can be used with that filter type object. Okay. So this was about the different filter types that you can access and manipulate using IronPython. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you.